Okay, so in last two tutorials we have seen that what all the different types of drivers are there, and how we are writing the JDBC program and the different steps to write the JDBC programs. Now, out of all these drivers, the main thing now what I'm going to discuss today is that, see here, as again I'll be repeating that what all different types of drivers are there. So the different types of mainly the drivers which is available is, you can say here, that is the types of drivers. So in that types of drivers, now the one which I am going to discuss is the type 1 driver. What is that type 1 driver exactly? It does is, in that type 1 driver which I am writing, type 1 driver I am writing here, and in that type 1 driver, the name of this driver is the Jdbc-Odbc Bridge Driver, which I am writing, bridge driver. But again, in this driver also, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the program on the basis of all of these drivers, and how further, what are the configurations part which we are going to do. The type 2 driver which is there is, and moreover it is somewhat more famous with the name of type of drivers. So here is the type of driver which is there. So type 2 driver is the partial native, or you can say partial Java, and that is partial native driver, okay, I'll be discussing the complete in detail part also. Third one which is there, that is the type 4 driver is, in the case of type 4 driver, it is the net protocol driver. What is that? Net protocol driver. Out of all these drivers, the more important drivers is generally two drivers are only bit important, and which is more popular. Okay, so the fourth driver, which as again is the, not it is the type 4 driver, this is the type 3 driver. In that I'll just remove it. Okay, so this is type 3 driver, and the type 4 driver is, in that is the pure, what is that? Pure Java driver. Is it okay? Okay, so I'm just going to discuss in this tutorial like about the type 1 driver. What is there exactly about the type 1 driver is, and why we are calling it as an Jdbc-Odbc Bridge Driver, and what all things happens inside this Jdbc-Odbc Bridge Driver. Even we will see in this, that is the configuration part of the Jdbc-Odbc Bridge Driver. Fine. So in this, like I'm just going to the next page. In that next page, I'll be just writing some technical details. So first thing which I just write here about is the type 1 driver. Type 1 driver is, what all that? Some important things is there, because when we use any specific type of driver, so in that specific type of driver, some things are there which is more important and which needs to be known by everyone. So like that, what is first one is the, you can say that is the very first point which I am writing is the name of the driver. When I am writing name of the driver, so I'll just come to each of the point. Second important point is the vendor of the driver, that who has provided this driver. Third important point is the driver class. It's a driver class. And the fourth important point is the URL. Most important thing about the driver, that is the URL, right? As well as the class is also there. And fifth one is, that is username. And the sixth one, which again I'm talking about, is that is, you can say username as well as the password both. And again in the case of sixth one is the like software required. Okay, so in these all one by one I'll be writing here. What also, as you know, type 1 driver which is there, we will be calling it as an Jdbc/ODBC Bridge Driver. Fine. So this is one important point. Vendor, who has given this vendor? So that is the something called as Java vendor something, right? And what about the driver class? So the driver class which is there, sun.jdbc dot odbc dot jdbc-Odbc driver. It's a driver which I am writing here, Jdbc-Odbc driver. URL. So see, when we just talk about this sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc-Odbc driver, so see, here if already I think you might be aware with the naming conventions and the packages naming convention. So starting from sun to Jdbc-Odbc is the name of the package name. What we will call it is the package name, and this is the mainly which is there is the class name. It is a class name, right? Now when again let's say when we are saying again about the URL, so again when we are talking about the URL, so that is the JDBC, okay, colon, it's ODBC, and then again colon is the DSN. Just here you look at that is the data source connection. DSN is the data source connection. Username, password is your database username and password. And for this software, what all requirement is the database tool. You can say here database tools. Third important thing is the ODBC driver. So these all are the requirement for this. Fine. Now when we wanted to set some kind of requirement, so in order to set this requirement, some things are there which is more and more important. Number one, what we have to do is, first thing what we need to do is, we need to configure the, what is that we need to configure? The ODBC data, that is source name, for something called as the Oracle and all things we need to do. So for that you can, mainly it is a Windows dependent system, and on Windows dependent systems itself, or you can say Windows operating system itself, we can do all that. But in Windows operating system itself, from control panel we need to check it out all that things, right? So what I will do is I'll just configure this ODBC driver for you, but mainly some steps which I'm just again I'll be writing here in this, what all the different steps are there, that we will see. So if in this case, first what I have to do is, see, I'll be just going to the desktop. In the desktop, what you have to do is, the very first thing which you need to do is just go to the very first step, go to the, where now, control panel. In the control panel, if you will see if you are not getting this complete things there at your system, so what you can do is you just click on, see, view by. So here is the large icon which I have selected, category. If you do in small icon, maybe you will not be able to see that. I'll just show it to you. So see, you can see this also. So you need to go on the administrative tools. In administrative tools, you are getting one important point, which is the ODBC, like that is a data source. Here is the data source, and see, when the data source is available here, so the important thing what you have to check it out is, you need to add, what you need to add is, and main important thing, you just need to check it out whether you are there in the user DSN or not. So I'm just clicking on here, add. What we need to add, see here we are not getting other than SQL Server Microsoft Corporation, something which we are getting. So what we do, if we install the Oracle or MySQL things, so it will come out of here. So what I'll do here is, I'll install the Oracle in my system. Maybe it is not there. So we'll do the one thing. will go to the some software folder in my system. Okay, software folder I'm going, one student DVD I'm going. In student DVD, which means that we used to provide to all the students, those who are studying to us. Okay, so in that we'll be installing mysql or Oracle, you can say, but we'll go for the Oracle itself. So I'll open it again. In that, when I'm writing it, so I'll be just going for the Oracle. So in Oracle 10G I'm just going to install in my system, say here. So this is the Oracle XE. It's an express edition, because just for the practice purpose we'll be using, which will be a bit faster than compared to the main software. Okay, so this is the one which I'm going to install here. So okay, yes. Now it's a very simple thing, installation is, and I hope you all might be aware with that. It will take some time to install. By that time we need to wait for something like how it is working out and all, right? So once the installation process is completed, then we need to do the certain steps in order to write it. Okay, but once the installation process is completed, I'll be able to show you how like ODBC DSN data source name we are configuring in that. Okay, so let's wait for this something. Fine. So it's giving now preparing to install. Okay, when it's preparing to install, in that case, so I'll do one more thing. I'll just minimize it, and again we are minimizing it. So see what again I'm going to do is that, see here. So I'm just clicking on next, right? I'll accept the agreement, click on next. Now next, you need to provide here the enter the password you are just going to write. So I'm writing here the jtc-som. I'll be writing here jtc-som. That is the password which I am providing, jtc-som, right? So both should be the common. Now again I am installing it, right? So we'll see, it will take again some more time to install. Okay, it is still installing the files. It is showing some informations, but yeah, you need to just click and let this installation complete it in a proper manner, because if the installation is not in a proper manner, it may not be responding properly to your Java program, or anywhere like in the Oracle also it will not be responding properly. So let it install properly. It is giving some message, and I'll just refresh it once again, and then we can go for something here. Okay, by that time in between I'll be writing what all the different steps where we were about to use it. So first one, now just go to the control panel. I'm just going to the control panel. In that, which one now? Control panel. In that, what we need to do now? Select the administrative tools, right? So administrative tools, in that you will be getting. In administrative tools, what you need to do is that, like, open the, what you need to open the, open in that the ODBC. What you need to open is the ODBC you need to open, and then again in that you will just click on add button. Okay, we are clicking on add button in this. Okay, and then under the user DSN, so this all, as I already have shown you, is the under the user DSN which is there. So under the user DSN we need to provide the other information things. Now meanwhile we will check whether the things which is there we have installed it properly or not. If you have installed it, so yeah, almost it is done. So if you have installed it, so you will find that under this one we will get, like when we are selecting all that, so in that we will get here, that is Oracle in XE we will get. So from there we need to select this and we need to provide certain details out of that. So hope if it is this handwriting, if it is not clear, so you can basically see the complete number of steps as I have shown to you in the so here now just we will uncheck it and we'll just write it here, the finish it off. Okay, we did it now. Once we did it all that, then again what I'm going to do again is I'll just go to that administrative tools. I'm clicking on open DSN, and now under the user DSN, I'll just click on add. Now whenever I'm clicking on add, still it is not giving that is the Oracle in XE. Sometimes it happens like if your system is if your system which is there is the 64-bit and maybe the softwares which you're installing of 32-bit, in that case also it may glitch. The major problem which is there, some of the Windows 7 operating system supports type 1 driver and some of them is not supporting the type 1 driver, right? So we'll do one more thing, because we have done just the installation. So I'll refresh it once again. We'll go for the we'll go for this one now, administrative tools. We are going again for the ODBC connections. We will check it out. Still it is not giving. We need to do some other configuration parts in that, and then we can do it out, right? But before going that, what next I'll be showing, I'll just not waste time in configuring the ODBC and all things, right? But what again I can do is that I'll be writing one program to just show you how we are writing the JDBC programs. Okay, so I'll be using a editor. What editor I'm going to use is the Eclipse I'm going to use. Okay, in Eclipse all these things which are again is there that I'll be doing here. Fine, so I'll select one. What I'm selecting is one wait a second, I'll be selecting one workspace here in Eclipse. So I'm writing here that is the JDBC classes. Okay, and this workspace which I have created here. In workspace I'll be writing the different programs, and in the different programs we'll see, or we will be verifying the number of steps which we were about or which we have seen in order to write the JDBC program, and accordingly we will see the other things related to that. So what again I am going to do is, this is our complete workspace panel, and in this workspace panel what again I am going to do is first I'll be just right click on this and select the project, Java project. It's a simple Java project you need to create. You need not to do anything else. Again, now in this Java project, I'm writing here that is the type 1 driver. That is the project name which I am creating here, and let it be everything. So okay, use execution environment, that is 1.8, and again okay. So I'll just click on next and click on finish. This is the one project which is there which I have created here, and in that I'll just check it out. So see, JDK 1.8 which we are using, so this all are the library files, that is the jar files which is available, and in the source file itself I'll right click on this. After that we will select the class. In the class itself, the very first, it is always safe to declare some package, so com.jtc India, and in that I'll be writing the type 1 driver which I am writing here. So name of this program is, suppose that is the type 1 driver you can say, or you can say here the JTC type 1 class which I have written, so that by the name of this itself we can identify what all things are available inside that. Okay, in this the one which again I am writing something here is the JDBC program. So maybe this is not visible, so let's do one thing. We will change the something here. What we will change, colors and fonts, basic. So I'll be just changing the font of that. When I'm changing the font of that, I'll make it bold, I'll make it 16, or else make it out 18. Select, apply, and then okay. So hope now it will be clearly visible to all of you. The very first thing, I'll write the main method here, and when I'm writing the main method in these cases, so we just wanted to see first what all the total number of steps which is there in that while writing the JDBC program. So the very first thing which again I'm going to do is in that the step 1 which I am writing. What is that step 1 which I am writing? Better I'll comment it. So step 1, what we have to do is that first which I am writing is here the load the driver class, very first thing which I am doing. And step 2 which I'll be again doing is step 2. What is the step 2 which we need to do is now establish the which one now, connection. We are going to just establish the connection. With what we are going to do, that we will see. Step 3, again that is the step 3 which I'll be doing here is to prepare the which one now, SQL query. SQL query I am writing, SQL query I am preparing, and after preparation of the SQL statement, or you can say the SQL query, we need something that should be with the help of that we should be submitting it to the database. So what again I am going to create is the something called as the JDBC statement. I am creating some kind of JDBC statement, because with the help of that JDBC statement we can submit something to the database. In step 5 which again I am going to write is the submit the query to the something called as the database. Okay, when I am submitting query to the database, so in order to that we are going to get some response from the database, so that response also has to be handled. So what all the response which I'm, so I'll be writing process the result from process the, you can just say process the result. And the last but very important point, generally people don't understand the uses of what is the main use of all these things like closing. So whatever connections till now you have used will be closing. Close all the connections. Okay, so I'm just closing here all the connections. Now some things which again needs to be analyzed. What needs to be analyzed is that here we are just loading this driver class, right? But before JDK 1.5 we need to load it. Until JDK 1.5 we need to load this driver class explicitly. But if you'll see from the JDK 1.6 we need not to do this step, because automatically driver loading will be done based on the what URL you are providing. That is a very important point which you should here understand in this, like, right? So the very first one which again I am going to do is, what is that I am going to do is the class dot I am writing here. What is that? For name method which I am writing. And when I am writing the class dot for name method, so in this some things which is there like a class name. So the class name needs to be loaded. So what is the class name? If you will see in our last things, I have just written what is the name of the class. So I'll be writing sun.jdbc.odbc driver. This is the name of the class. Remember one point, that the name of the class which you are writing, you should write it here very carefully, and it is a case sensitive, right? So in that the package name correctly and as well as the class name also should be you should write it in a proper manner, right? But before that, once we are loading the driver class, there are some APIs which is there which needs to be used. So I'll be writing here the connection con which is there in the java.sql package. So I'll do one thing, I'll just put it here, the java.sql.star, which already in the last tutorial I have gone through that. What is the java.sql? So con is equal to what I'll be writing now, null I am writing con, statement which I am writing st is equal to what next I am going to write now, null I am writing. Okay, so in this I'm not using the result set, you can say, or if I'll use the result set further I can write it. But in that, okay, the step one, very important one, is that we are loading the driver class. So load the driver class in the form of sun.jdbc.jdbc-Odbc driver. Okay, after that, the establishment of the connections, how we need to do the establishment of a connection, that is also one of the very important points. So first one is the driver manager. The driver manager which I am writing here is in class. This driver manager is in class, and inside that method itself, inside this class itself, there is a method called as get connection method, and in the get connection method we need to write the URL. If you'll see in the starting of this tutorial itself, I have written the URL name. What was the URL in that case? So I'll be writing JDBC colon ODBC, right? And after that, here is some DSN name we need to provide, that which I was doing, but somehow my system was not supporting. So here the JTC something DSN we can write it. This is the name, DSN name, which needs to be configured with the specific you can say the database tool which you have installed in your system. And after that, so let's say we are installing it into the Oracle. So for the Oracle, username you need to provide here. That is the database username you are going to provide. And after providing the database username, you need to provide the password. So I'll just given here JTCSOM. I have given the password which is there for that. Okay. One important thing again here is this driver manager.get connection is returning. What it is returning? Connection type reference it is returning. One question which everyone has to think about, that what is that question is that let's say this connection which is there, it's an interface, right? Statement is also an interface. So what we used to call here is that driver manager.get connection is returning what it is returning. It is returning some kind of connection type of object. Here, what do you mean by the connection type of object? The connection type of object, which means that connection is an interface, and the interface API has been implemented by some of its subclasses. So that subclasses things we need. So that subclass object it is creating, and again it is giving it to. So that anyways, the API interactions I'll be discussing in the next tutorial. So for that, you just keep on touch with this channel. Okay. So in that again. So I have written, it is showing some errors. So what is there? That it is throwing some checked exceptions. The checked exceptions needs to be followed by the try and catch. So I'll be writing here the check exception and hope that problem gets solved. Okay. Say again in this further case, that is the type 3 case, when I'm writing the SQL. So I'll be writing here the string of SQL1, that is the query. It's a simple query which I wanted to write it in this cases here. So what I'm writing here in the let's say suppose I'm writing insert into. So this is the SQL query I'm writing, insert into student, and the values which again I'm going to write is, so what's value we are going to write in that? Suppose some SID we are writing. So 101 I'm writing, and the name of this. So see, name, since it is an it's in string, and in database it is in varchar. So varchar which is there we need to write. So I'll be just still we have not defined the table, but what I'll consider is that we'll take it at the SID name. So name I'll be writing here the SOM, and parallelly which it is there that you can write the, what you can write is the email address you can write. So you can write here that is the som@jtcindia dot something called as the org we can write it. And after writing it again, now that's in contact number. So it's in 6526668 I'm writing. This is our contact number, which if you want you can contact on this. Okay, so this is one what I have written, SQL statement which I have written here. Okay, the fourth step which I wanted to write is the, what is that? That is the JDBC statement, right? Okay, create the JDBC statement. How we need to create the JDBC statement, that is the important thing we need to understand. So con.create What is that I'm writing? Create statement, and this con.create statement which is there is returning to the type of what? It is the type of statement it is returning here. So this is the st is equal to con.create statement I'm returning, which is returning to the type of statement object, and statement type object means that is the subclass of statement type object it is returning. I'll come to this later on also, and in the further classes I'll be discussing what do you mean by the statement type of object, what do you mean by the connection type of object. Again, now I just need to submit this query to the database. So create dot, or you can say st dot. What I need to write is the, see, there are the following methods which is available. What all the methods are available? Execute, execute update, and execute query. But depending on the requirement, we are going to use the different types of methods. So what I'm going to write here, the execute, what I need here, that suppose if I'm submitting some query to the database, so I need to know whether with my query what result has been affected, whether any result is there of my query or not, right? So I'm writing execute, execute, and associated with the, you'll find here somewhere execute update method, execute update method, as I'm going to write execute update method I'm writing. In execute update method, we just need to pass that string which is in query, and it is somehow it is returning that int I is equal to, so I'm taking it inside that. Okay, see, I'll be just I'm writing in that all these programs which is step by step programs, as I'm writing again inside this. Okay, the step 6 which is there, process the result. The process result which I want to show means that what execute update method does, if the query which you are submitting to the database, with this query, if some records affected in the database, so this execute method returns the number of results affected in the database, or number of records affected in the database with the specified query which you have submitted. So if I am writing here, what is that? If x is I is equal to, you can say 1, it means that at least one record would have been affected in that. So I'll be taking here in that. What is that now? Or you can write I is greater than equal to 1. So either it is 1 or more than 1. That you can write, and it is your choice. So what I'm writing is that a record inserted properly, successfully, it is record inserted, or else what we can do here again is the, what again I'm going to do in this is that if not done, then try again something again I'm going to do in this. And the last but very important thing which again I need to do is that I need to close all these connections. Okay, we have already studied in the core Java that whenever we wanted to close any sort of connections, right? So what we can do is, it is always and always recommendable to close the connection in somewhere which must be executed all the time. So we need, that is the finally hope, and you are aware with the finally in that, right? So here that is the step number 7 which is there. I'll just take it out here and write it down here in this, right? Okay, it's so in the statement number in this, so the first what I'll do again is the, if I'm checking out, what if I'm checking st is not equal to which one now? Null. Hope you can understand this line what I'm writing, and then st dot which one now? Close I'm doing in this. Okay, st dot close which I have written. After that statement now again, so in this what I can do is just I'll be copying and pasting the same thing again and again. So not again and again, one more, just you can write it here, paste it in this. So not st, first you just let it with the st, and then I'm writing here the connection. So if the connection is not equal to null, then con dot close I'm writing here. Fine. So hope you are able to understand something with this, right? And if something goes well in these cases here, here still it is giving some error. So what you can do is, because when we close all this it throws some exception, so I'm writing if, not I'm writing if, I'll just write try, and after writing the try, and what I'll be writing is the catch statement I'm doing, and after the catch statement better write the exception E, and okay. So this is the what program which we have written here by step. By chance in our system, what I have assumed, what you need to understand, JTC DSN I have given. Now it depends in your system what DSN name you are providing, accordingly you need to provide here also in this program also. And so now see this is the first program which I have completed. It will not run out obviously, because the proper system DSN I have not configured in that my system. So we'll see what error if it is giving, that if we have not configured our properly DSN and all things in this. Okay. So something, because somehow it is, so I'll be just opening the console and what it works. So see what it is giving, that is the java.lang.sun.jdbc-Odbc class not found and all things it is giving in this case is here. Okay, for that we can build some path, because see here I'll be just writing here build path in that, and add external archives. So in that case, add external archives, we can go to our some drives where the corresponding different softwares are available. In that I'm just going for this one, I'm writing the Oracle, since we are connecting with the Oracle. In the Oracle classes 1 and ODBC, just you get this jar files, and now you just see here, see what error. I was not expecting this error, because a reason of error is different something, but we are getting some different errors. So I have configured, what I have configured, the jar files. I have built the path for that jar files. Again the same thing I am running again, and now we will see what we are getting here. Now in this again it is what is giving, that is the sun.jdbc.odbc jdbc-Odbc driver, right? So here you just see here, I'll be just now again clearing all these things, and if we have configured all these jar files, yes we have configured the jar files, and now we'll just run the program in your systems. It will run probably. Why here we are not able to run is because in my system type 1 driver which is there, it's not being supported, and that with that proper the URL which is there is not working out in this, and that's the reason we were getting, you might be getting something. Okay, so thank you. Now you can subscribe our channel to get the more things, more updates, and we'll be constantly uploading the new videos related to the JDBC, Struts, Spring, Hibernate, EJB, web services. All on all these topics we are going to upload the different kinds of videos, right? So hope you understand my point. Thank you.